Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Acid Wash Anime Podcast. I'm your host, Marika, and this is my lovely co-host, Sydney.
Hello.
And today, we're the bisexual supporting cast.
Yeah.
We're always the bisexual supporting cast, but especially today, because today we're going to be talking about Haikyuu Rarepairs, and we like bisexuality.
Well put.
That was the smoothest save. You couldn't even tell that I fucked up the intro. But first, on this podcast, we love celebrating small milestones. And not only did we reach 100 downloads across our podcasting platforms, but this past week we also gained our first real YouTube subscriber. And we got our first YouTube comment.
Oh, I hadn't seen that.
Yes. They were really nice.
Okay.
I'm just going to read it out because they have some very important information that they included.
Oh, all right.
So first, they just said, "Hello, I really enjoyed this. As a rare pair multi-shipper enthusiast myself, I related a lot to what you said. It was really well put together." That's really good.
That's exciting.
We appreciate
wow,
that.
because it's all on the fly, pretty much.
And then they said, "I think I have possibly found a way to search for all of the relationships of a character written on AO3.
Ooh.
And I was like, I'm intrigued. And so they said you click on the search button and then click on the tag search button and you search for a character. You change, there's like a box where you can say like what type of tag you search, and you click relationship, and then you select whether or not you want it to be canonical tags and then hit enter. And it doesn't generate fics, but it generates all of the tags that have that character in it in a relationship. So
that's cool.
I know I did it with Kendaichi earlier today. I haven't actually gone through any of the fics because I'm in the middle of like a 200k Kyohaba fic right now that I am finishing before I start anything new. But I was like, oh my gosh. So I can see all of the tags that have Kendaichi in it in a relationship, and then I would just have to go through each tag.
I wouldn't have even thought of searching tags.
Yeah,
because
right?
like, that's just not a feature on AO3 that I use ever, because
Yeah.
I don't know how to. There's like criticism against AO3, or not criticism, but like a frequent thing that I hear is that people don't know how to use AO3, and so they use Wattpad instead, which is not something I've ever really understood personally, because I think for the most part, like AO3 is pretty simple to use. Like you go in, there's tags, you search for what you want, you can filter out what you don't want. But there are aspects to the site, like the bookmarks and collections and like searching tags and things like that, that are like features that exist that I just haven't ever explored. And so
Yeah.
I guess I kind of do understand when people say they don't know how to use AO3, but also like you don't have to use all the parts of AO3. Like you can just search a fandom and click on a tag and search through that tag.
Right. Yeah, I've searched tags before, but I was trying to find, I don't remember why I was searching it, but I was remembering I was searching a bunch of tags. I know once I was searching to try to like figure out tags that I should tag a fic that I had written with, but I had used it once before for a different reason that I don't remember. But yeah, it literally just never occurred to me. And so
amazing.
Shout out to our first commenter for providing me like a great avenue of which to explore all the fics for the loves of my the loves of my singular life, Kendaichi and Goshiki.
Amazing. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. So anyway,
I can do that to find fics of Inawoka.
there you go.
I love Inawoka.
A lot of fics, or a lot of pairings for minor characters are rare pairs by nature, because
there's just not a lot of
there's
content
just
anyway.
not a lot. So anyway, let's dive in
Amazing.
to our part 2 of the episode, which is literally actually us discussing Haikyuu rare pairs that we like, maybe even ones that we don't like, maybe not.
It might come up. Who knows?
It might come up. But as always, this episode might contain Haikyuu time skip spoilers, so if you're not about that life, this might be a skip. But if you are about that life, welcome. To kick us off, we're going to start with, I think, the ship that you are the most excited to talk about in terms of rare pairs.
Yes.
Which is Tanaka and Nishinoya.
Mm-hmm.
There's always that moment where you're like, oh, but like, I like the idea of that, or I'm curious enough about the idea of that to go out and like look for a fic. Like, what sparked the wait actually inside of your head?
Yeah, so I, like many other people in the fandom, I started out seeing Tanaka and Noya as just bros, just best of friends, chaotic boys having shenanigans. And then, as also many other people in fandoms tend to do, I said, but what if they were gay? And then I was like, they've probably like practiced kissing or something like that, or like hooked up once or something. And then I said to myself, but what if they fell in love? And then my heart melted. And so that's kind of, I just got really into them. I think they have so much potential. Just like, mostly like friends to lovers is probably one of the most popular tropes in fan fiction and fandom spaces, I would think. And so they are prime for that. Like, you've got it set up perfectly for friends to lovers. And it absolutely shocks me that they're so much of a rare pair for being two prominent characters on the main team with such a solid friendship and relationship in the show, in the canon, to be so rare. I was shook. I was flabbergasted.
Did you look up how many fics there were of them on AO3?
Yeah, as of this morning when I looked on AO3, there are, and just the relationship, no other tags or filters, is 384.
That's so small.
Yeah.
It surprises me as well. I know that Asahi and Noya is like the popular ship for Noya, and it makes sense because of the arc that they had. It was very emotionally impactful. But I think Tanaka and Noya have a more consistently depicted relationship throughout the course of the show. And so I don't know if I would necessarily expect them to be more popular, but I would expect them to be at least equally popular, but it's really not. Yeah. And I think so much of that is just because people railroad Tanaka into being straight.
Yes.
And I think that plays a huge part in just their inability to see the potential of Tanaka and Noya in a relationship. Mm-hmm. Because Tanaka is into Kyoko. Never mind that Nishio Noya is also into Kyoko. Oh, yeah. But Tanaka ends up with Kyoko. So obviously there's no way that he could be anything other than straight.
Duh. People who are attracted to women are only ever attracted to women. And they cannot ever have... Yeah, anyway.
No, but I think this like topic hits particularly close to us since we both identify as bisexual and we're both people that are attracted to multiple genders. To see... I mean... You can headcanon characters to be whatever sexuality you want. Like, it really doesn't matter in the long time. And if you want to see Tanaka or you read Tanaka as straight and you like that joke of the token straight character or whatever, that's completely fine and valid. But I think there's something in just seeing that being the primary representation where when all other characters in the show are mostly headcanon to be some form of queer is kind of, I don't know, disheartening almost.
It really is.
It feels like... It's like I can relate to being put in that box. Mm-hmm. I know what it feels like to be attracted to multiple genders and then have everyone be like, but it's just the one.
And it's also, I think, interesting to me to see that when Tanaka is portrayed as something other than straight, it's not as easily accepted as other various like sexuality or gender headcanons for other characters.
Right.
Like people headcanon Noya as gay or pan or bi, etc., etc. And I haven't really ever seen like pushback against that. But if something out there portrays Tanaka as something other than straight, you'll get comments, oh, no. Tanaka is straight. Yeah. Tanaka is the token straight. I thought we all agreed that Tanaka is the straight one. And that's just... I don't know, like...
It very much feels like... It's not really bi erasure, because Tanaka isn't canonically bi at all, but, like, it feels like... It feels the same.
Yeah, it feels like bi erasure. It feels... And
it feels like you're erasing the possibility of a character being attracted to more than one gender just because they're canonically seen as only being quote-unquote straight.
The thing that you brought up with Noya also... being attracted to Kyoko is really what kind of like gets under my skin about it too, because the both of them are shown to be equally into Kyoko. Mm-hmm. They're both captains of Kyoko's protection squad. You throw Yamamoto in there too. Like, they're all obsessed with her. Noya gets slapped by her and they all worship him as the chosen one. Right. Yet Noya gets a pass because of his arc with Asahi.
And because I think he may have a more flamboyant personality. And I kind of mean that in the typical sense of flamboyancy and queerness, but also not. But you know, like, he's small, he's excitable, whereas Tanaka is very like typically masculine.
Yeah, he's got the bald head. He's like rips his shirt off and throws it over his head.
I think there's also an element of Tanaka being what people expect straight people to be like.
Exactly. And I think that's probably why I'm like so passionate about Bi Tanaka too, is because it would be great representation. Like, it's not someone that most people look at and would think, oh, you're attracted to multiple genders. Gay people, queer people, we all come in all sorts of forms. Start stepping away from our stereotypes. You know,
it's 20. Put us in a box.
It's 2021. Like, anybody can look or act like anything and be gay, bi, trans, intersex, all of the rainbow can show up in any form, and it can show up in Tanaka.
All right, favorite trope for Tana Noya?
I wouldn't say it's a trope. It's just a common theme. That would be mutual pining and also like misunderstanding. And so I love when the two of them are into each other, but because of Kyoko or because of Asahi or because of assumptions, they're like, oh, he's never gonna be interested in me, like I need to like move on. Yeah, and like there'll be fics too where Noya will be spending a lot of time with Asahi, and Tanaka's like, oh my gosh, they're like together, I need to like get over it. But actually, like, Noya's like getting Asahi's help on like advice for how to woo Tanaka. Or there was one where I read where Noya saw Kyoko sneaking out of the Tanaka's house in like the early morning, and Noya was like, oh man, like he got with Kyoko finally, like I have to be happy for him. But when it eventually comes up, Tanaka's like, I don't know what you're talking about, and it turns out that Kyoko and Saiko were dating. And so that's why she was sneaking out of the house.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think to like search any female related ships for the episode.
To be fair, there are very few female characters.
Yeah, there are like 3.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's more, but
plus, yeah, there's the 3 main ones would be Kyoko, Yachi, and Saiko. Then you kind of got Love's sister in there.
Yeah, you've got Love's sister, Yamamoto's sister, Michimiya, the other girls Crossno. Oh yeah, the Michimiya. Other like the girls managers on like the other teams.
Yeah, you can't even name a single one.
I can't. But and Kanaka, we've got Kanaka and Mika. I think that's it that I can name.
There's not a lot, but I had made it a note and I totally forgot to look up. You might have. You were so well prepared for this episode. Before we started, she sent me a list that was like, these are some of the pairings I was thinking we could talk about. And it was a really long list, and they all had the number of fics that were on them on AO3. And I was like, I didn't even really look at the list that closely. I was just like, cool. But Kyotani and Yachi might be on that. Yeah. Which is, I'm surprised that you put it on there. Because do you ship that?
I basically just I just made a list of ships that I had heard of or actively shipped. And so Kyoyachi is one that I've heard of and I think is cute.
Got it. Got it. Why do you think it's cute?
I think it's cute. I don't know. I just saw like a fan art for it one time and I was like, you know what? That's pretty cute. Like, I just think Kyotani has like has a secret soft side. Yeah. And I think that Yachi is good at bringing out the soft side in people. And so just seeing like the small frightenable girl with the scary guy but like actually he's just a big softie, I think is like a really cute dynamic.
I read one Kyoyachi fic, but it wasn't ABO, but it was something that was like not fully human people. I don't remember it that well. And I'm pretty sure it was kind of a strange plotline. I don't remember if I liked it or not. But I mean, I was at least curious enough of the plot that I didn't mind the pairing, and I read it. So
there you go.
There you go.
I don't have a ton of Yachi ships because I prefer to headcanon her as a lesbian, and like we just discussed, there's not like a ton of female characters, and so like I like Kyoyachi, I like Kanoyachi, but yeah, there's just not a whole lot of female characters.
Yeah,
and so,
or even like female characters that she has interactions with. Not that that's a necessity for shipping at all.
But it is like nice. That's tends to be how I get into ships, is
to have like that starting off
to have a canon interaction or something.
A ship that I got so behind, but there's no canon interaction, and I doubt there's literally any fic for it. because it was a background in a fic. It's Yamaguchi and the younger female manager for Jozenji.
Oh, okay.
They like, it was a soulmate AU. I think it was Stacy Smash's soulmate AU that they have.
Oh,
And
that sounds familiar.
in the background of one of the fics, or maybe it was even, I
'Cause
don't
they don't have
remember
dreams
which
of
one
each
it was in
other.
the background of, but it was in
Yeah.
the background of, and he met his soulmate, like whatever, at a
Yeah.
match. But I just really like that because like the one thing we know about the secondary, or the up and coming Jozenji manager, is that she was like kind of intimidated by like all the rowdy guys, because you know the previous manager was like, don't terrorize her.
Yeah.
And then Yamaguchi's just such a like soft and kind soul, and so I was like, you know what, we know like 2 things about this this character, but I'm so down for this ship.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's like a prime example of literally no canon interaction, but the potential is there.
One that I actually do really like is, and I've seen a fair amount of fan art for it. There's not a ton of fics, but it's Suki, Yamaguchi, and Yachi, kind of just pairing off the other first years.
Yeah.
You've got Kagehina and then
Yeah, I've read a
the
couple
rest of
fics for
them.
those. They're cute.
And they are cute. Yeah, like I don't know, Yamaguchi and his blondes.
I think there is something also like Suki opening up to people who aren't Yamaguchi is kind of an interesting dynamic. I read a fic once it was Suki, Yamaguchi, and Oikawa.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was another soulmate AU. Oikawa and Yamaguchi had started dating, but they weren't soulmates.
Okay.
And they were together for like 5 years or something.
Wow.
And then Yamaguchi meets Suki and they're soulmates. And so it kind of, it's really not a storyline that I thought that I would be into, because I, as I've stated in previous episodes, I hate love triangles. And even though with like a polyamorous relationship, it's obviously not going to end in a love triangle, but even things that have too much of that dynamic as angst just are a turn off to me, because I don't care to read about it. But I thought they handled it so well, and I just liked it despite the fact that it wasn't a fic that I would have tended to gravitate towards. And I don't know, I just liked seeing Suki kind of open up especially to Oikawa.
Yeah, that's not ever someone that I would.
Yeah, it was cool. It was a cool fic.
If you had told me, if you were like, it's like a 3 relationship, Suki and Yamaguchi are 2 of them, the other one's pretty random, who would you guess? I think Oikawa would probably be like one of the last ones I would guess, even if you would give me the hint that it was a random one. But that's the magic of fandom.
That's the magic of fandom. Truly, it's hard to find a pairing that there isn't any fix for, but I managed.
You managed?
I managed.
Oh.
It's the only one that I was like, I ship this, and there are 0 fix for, and it is Inoshida and Kita.
Oh.
Which I just have this idea that Inoshida is pretty insecure about his upcoming captaincy, having been only on the bench beforehand, and kind of remembering like that was Kita's position, but Kita was well respected by his team and impacted them a lot, and just having him like reach out and be like, how did you deal with this, and then through that communication like something forms more. And yeah, there's 0 fic for it.
No.
It's so sad.
Aww. Yeah, I think the lowest of the list that I have is 5, and that is for Kuro, Mika, and Daisho.
Okay.
So
yeah, you were just telling me about this
I
before
was.
before the podcast.
Yeah.
What was your spark moment for them?
I've seen other people ship it on Twitter.
Ah.
And so, like, I follow someone who's really into Mika and Daisho. And then
I made a gift set for them on Tumblr.
nice. But so they're into just Daisho as a character in general, but so therefore Mika and Daisho, and then also Kuro and Daisho. Throw all 3 of them in there. If you ship 2 pairings, go on. Add them all together. And so I saw that, and I thought it was just I dug it. I was like, all right, here we go. And I got the Sprout zine, and there is an art piece of the 3 of them like kind of cuddling on a couch like watching a movie, and it's just really cute, and it gives me good vibes. And I don't know, they like, because like Daisho and Kuro have like kind of like a contentious relationship,
right.
And so kind of
they do
they have a contentious relationship, and so you've got the kind of like hate love like dynamic going on, which I find fun. And then you throw Mika in there to kind of like soften it up or spice it up, she's
Yeah,
she can
her
be
and
spunky.
Daisho were broken up.
Yeah.
So, what if Kuro tried to sweep in on Daisho's girl?
Oh my gosh.
And it became like big drama, but then the three of them ended up just getting together.
Yeah, what if?
That's the fic I want to read.
There you go. Yeah. But, well, there's 5. So hopefully one of them is that.
Yeah, my next lowest was 14. Actually, my 3 lowest are all of my... Well, okay, I should rephrase that. The 3 lowest ships in terms of number of fics all have Inoshida in them for me. It's Inoshida Kira 0, and then Inoshida and Yamamoto at 14, and Inoshida Yahaba at 19, which I was kind of surprised that Inoshida Yahaba was more than Inoshida Yamamoto, but like also I guess it makes more sense because like next gen captains,
Yeah, okay.
where
Yeah,
Inoshida
yeah.
Yamamoto is almost like, where is this coming from?
They're just second years. They're in the same year.
Yeah. Although, I mean, I don't know. Maybe Yamamoto is a second gen captain. Who the fuck is going to be captain
Yeah.
of Nekoma after Kuro leaves? Kenma? I love
No.
the boy.
No.
But no.
Yeah. Takatora as next captain of Nekoma absolutely makes sense.
I fuck with that.
Yeah.
So, also next gen captains.
There you go.
But yeah, so I was like, it's the sign that Inoshida isn't a very popular character. Although, interestingly enough,
Mm-hmm.
Inoshida Tanaka, 1,112 fics.
Oh.
And because I was curious, because I wanted to bring this up at one point last episode, and then it slipped my mind throughout the course of our discussion.
Mm-hmm.
But would you consider a canon pair that doesn't have much content for it a rare pair?
Oh.
Because then I got curious and I looked up Kyoko and Tanaka, and they have 655.
Wow.
So despite the fact that we just had this whole talk about how people headcanon Tanaka as straight a lot of the time, Tanaka and Inoshida still have more fanfics, like almost double the amount of fanfics on AO3 than Kyoko Tanaka, who
That's fascinating.
canonically get together in the time skip.
That's interesting.
It doesn't surprise me that there's not a lot of fics written about Tanaka and Kyoko, but it does surprise me that they're not secondary pairing more often, like pushing them further up.
Mm-hmm.
And also, yeah, I guess I just didn't expect Inoshida and Tanaka to be more popular.
I was not expecting that many for them. Huh. Over 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
I would not have guessed that.
So what about Tanaka Kyoko? Rare pair or not?
I think I would consider it a rare pair though,
Mm-hmm.
because like 600 something, that's really not a lot for
Right.
the fandom. And so when you're talking about the scope of it, I would say that probably puts it in the bottom 20 to 10% of fics.
I have no idea.
I don't know. I'm just guessing. Ballparking.
I don't know. I'm inclined to say not rare pair because I think that I don't know if I can say that a canon pairing is a rare pair. I don't know if I can like personally justify that.
Yeah, but it's not common though.
But it's in canon.
But it's rare.
But it's like one of the, but if you look at canon, it's like one of the only confirmed relationships.
True.
So technically, it's like the least rare in canon.
Yeah, but like when I think about rare pairs, I'm thinking about fandom content, like the amount of fandom content.
Yeah, that's usually what I frame it with. But again, I don't know. I just have
It does
this weird,
feel weird.
right?
Yeah. Because typically rare pairs are the ships that aren't going to be canon, which
Yeah.
like really like it's a sports anime manga. Like
Yeah.
almost no ships are going to be canon. Except for
The
Tanaka and
Tanaka
Kyoko
and
and Daisho and Mika.
And then I was wondering, I don't know shit about Voltron. I just know that Clance is a pairing. I know it's Lance, and I don't even know the name of the Keith and Lance.
I also have not seen Voltron.
I thought they were the pairing that got together in the show just because of the amount of fan content that there is about them. I've read some fanfics because I was looking for some specific tags.
You read Voltron fanfic without knowing anything about Voltron.
Yeah, it gets a little bit confusing sometimes. But like when you're really thirsty for those like super kinky tags, then sometimes you dive into other fandoms. Anyway, so I thought that Keith and Lance were like the pair that got together in the show because I know that there is a canon, and I think I was gonna say canonically, but I decided to stop at canon, and I just a canon pairing. I think there is a canon gay pairing in the show, but it's not them, and I guess
not.
like everyone hates the canon one because it came out of nowhere.
Well, from what I know, they announced that a character was going to be gay, and everyone freaked out, assuming that Clance was going to happen. It's not Clance. I know one of the characters, I think he's the one with black and white hair, is one of them, and then his partner probably did come out of nowhere because they were like, I think they were like 5 seasons into this show or something. But from my understanding, which could be completely wrong, so disclaimer, do not take anything I say as valid. I just don't want to take the time to Google right now. From my understanding, they introduced the partner through flashbacks, and then I'm pretty sure they killed him off. Or like they ended it or something. I'm pretty sure that's the controversy about it.
That's fucking awful.
I think.
If that's...
Again, yeah. So
wait, no, we have to
Google this now.
We can't get this wrong. Voltron gay relationship. All right, Voltron showrunner apologizes to fans following outrage over gay character storyline. Let's see. Yeah, so it was revealed that a main character, Shiro, a main character, was not only gay but in a committed relationship back on Earth, and then Adam, the love interest, had 2 scenes in the series, one where they broke up and another one where he was killed in an alien attack, according to Sci-Fi Wire.
Wow. Bury your gays.
Yep. Took a lot of heat over the issue, which many saw as a needless continuation of the bury your gays trope. God.
Yeah. Like, how do you do that? Like, I just feel like that's such a, like, this is very much not a Haikyuu Rarepairs topic anymore, but, you know, I just feel like that shows such, I would say, willful ignorance. Yeah. Because it means you didn't take in any focus groups. You didn't talk to probably anyone from the LGBTQ community.
And also you have no, like, even semblance of a clue of the history of gay portrayals in media.
Yeah, absolutely. And so it's not hard to find people who can help you write a good LGBTQ storyline.
Like, the thing is that, one, it feels like you're trying, and this is I'm not saying that these are actually their motivations or whatever. This is also applies to any other situation that's like this. One, it feels like you want the representation without having to show it. Because you introduce it, you say it's canon, and then you kill the person off and you don't have to show it.
You break them up and then you kill them.
But also, I forgot. I had a second point. I just forgot. Wait,
incredible. Moving stuff.
Wait, hold on. Let me think if I can get it back. What was I going to say? I don't fucking know. Well, it's gone.
Really moving point from Marika.
Well, yeah, it's just kind of like, if tropes aside, like the bury your gays trope aside, even if that didn't exist and it was just black and white, the queer community has not had representation. Like, why the fuck would you introduce representation just to kill it off?
Yeah.
Like, that's just stupid on a level, even if bury your gays wasn't a trope.
Yeah. I feel icky.
Yeah.
I knew it was something bad. I
did not realize that.
Yeah.
I just assumed that it just, like, people kind of hated it because it came out of nowhere.
No, they hated it because it was bad I knew it was bad representation. And like I said, I thought it was a killing, and I was right.
Fuck, that sucks.
Yeah.
It's just annoying, honestly. Because, I mean, I read a book that was by a small author, local to Oregon, and it was a mystery novel. There was a gay character in it, and of course they got killed. And it's like, in the context of the novel, like, there's a murder, and they're trying to solve who it is. It makes sense for a character to die. And in, like, the vacuum of that novel, it's like not saying anything about the status of gays in existing, but at the same time, it's like, cool, the one gay character you had, of course, is one of the murder victims. You know what I mean? And it's just seeing that repeated over and over and over again, even if in the vacuum of that one specific media it's okay, is annoying.
Yeah.
We're not saying you can never kill a gay character, but, like, maybe if we had other cool, good representation.
Yeah. Queer representation matters.
You can take the queer representation out of media, but you can't take the queer representation out of literal queer people.
Well said. But anyway, we branched off from talking about canon relationships being Rarepairs.
Right. I don't really have anything more to add to it other than I just am gonna say I don't think that you can have a Rarepair and be be a canon relationship.
Interesting.
I think that's where I draw a line.
All right.
In my eyes. I guess you disagree. But
I do disagree.
Wow.
I think of it in terms of like just ratio of, because even in the canon it's such a small thing.
So here's the second question. Did you ever settle on whether you think Kyohaba is a rare pair or not?
What's their fit count again?
1,836.
See, without knowing that like Hanamaki Matsukawa is like 2,000 something, I would say yes, rare pair, but that's so close. Like that number is so close to Hanamaki Matsukawa, and they're the number 10 ship in the fandom.
But still, I feel like I would still consider them
or Matsukawa and Hanamaki,
because I'm almost positive that they are more secondary shipped than main shipped. I don't know, does that?
But it's still, I don't know, it's just such a weird,
it's a
gray
weird
area.
Yeah,
like
it
we
is.
talked about I was listening back to the part 1 and we were like, oh, like rare pair, like you just know, like it's an instinct, you just know. And now we're like, is it though? Is it? It's such a gray area. So yeah, we're eating our words now. But I want to say yes because it isn't something that's super popular, and I think I'm more liberal with applying the term rare pair to things than you are, but I'm kind of leaning no.
Yeah,
but it feels wrong to say no for some reason.
I think they're no. And I think it's a combination, because we also talked about, is it the main pairing for like a character? And I think it's a combination of those, because I think it's that they have a slightly higher fit count and they're the main pairing for those characters. So like Kunimi Kendaichi was the example I used last time. I consider that a rare pair, even though they're absolutely the main pairing for each other, but their fit count is so low. I totally did not look it up. I don't have it available to me.
No, I don't have it either.
But they're just not that popular. Whereas Kyohaba is the main pairing, but they're also a slightly higher fit count. So even though it's a lower fit count, and maybe if there was a pairing that wasn't the main pairing that was around the same fit count, I would consider it, is that fair? A rare pair? But it's like whenever you see Kyohaba in a relationship, it's with Kyotani. Like you don't have to.
Whenever you see Yahaba with in a relationship,
what did I say?
You said Kyohaba.
Whenever you see like Yahaba in a relationship, it's with Kyotani, and vice versa. Like you never have to be like, oh my gosh, like I always see, because part of it I just feel like is how you feel about it. Like I see like so much Yahaba Oikawa, like I see so much Yahaba Oikawa. Oh my gosh, finally. You know what I mean? Like when it's swamped by another pairing, there's a feeling. Yes, exactly.
Is what indicates to me something is a rare
So it's
pair.
like even though I might encounter Kyohaba at the same rate as another ship that's their same level, in comparison to the other ships that I see those characters with, if it's less, then I feel like it's more of a rare pair. My other question: do you consider Bokuto Kuro a rare pair?
No.
Okay.
Especially lately, I've seen a lot more of them. Like
I've kind of seen an uptick of there as well.
Yeah, there's been like a resurgence. Like I see videos pretty frequently on TikTok. I see fan art on Instagram and Twitter pretty frequently. I'll come across like fic recs or like Twitter thread fics of them. And so I say no to Bokuro.
I looked them up only because I also looked up Akashi and Kenma. But I OTP trued Akashi Kenma because, like I said, the majority of their fics show up in Boku Waka Kuroken, and usually the focus in Boku Waka Kuroken isn't on them at all. Like they're the least focused on together. So I OTP trued Akashi and Kenma and got 163, and I just wanted to compare to Bokuto Kuro. So Bokuto and Kuro is 2,552 without OTP true, but if I put OTP true on it just to make the comparison equal, it's 1,018. And I just thought that was so interesting because I feel like it would be natural in Bokuro fics to then place Akashi and Kenma together. Like I feel like that's how it normally goes, right? You got the main pairing, and like the best friends of the main pairing usually also pair together. Like that's why there's so many Ginny Blaze fics. It's because they're the secondary pairing in all the Draco Hermione fics, right?
All right.
So I thought that I'm not surprised having looked at Akashi Kenma before because I like their dynamic, but I can recognize that I would be surprised if I had just been told to think about it afterwards. I would have thought that those two numbers would have been closer, but they're not. I just really like Akashi Kenma. I just feel like they have calm and soft energy together. I like opposites attract a lot of the time, but sometimes it's nice to just have calm people together that can clearly communicate about their feelings, or maybe even have to like kind of, pry a little bit because one of them's shy.
You have to learn how to open up.
Yeah, exactly. And so
Yeah.
I think they'd have a really nice dynamic that way. And they'd also probably be a pretty good reprieve for each other for their extroverted and loud and crazy best friends.
Yeah.
They would find solace in each other's company.
Yeah, I also see portrayals of them as kind of like having more of a rivalry dynamic too. I saw like some gifs of one of the stage plays where the two of them are kind of like squaring off with each other in I think it was the stage play that's based off of the Tokyo OVAs of the Tokyo National Qualifier Games. And so, because Fukudani and Nekima play each other. But yeah, so there was like just like a gift set of the stage play actors kind of like having like a standoff or like looking at each other, and it was like a vibe. I was like, oh, okay, there's like some tension here, like damn. And so I like that aspect of Kuroken as well, the fact that Akaken. I like that aspect of Akaken as well, is like they can be like soft and quiet together, but they can also be conniving little bitches to each other.
Right. They're definitely both characters that are calmer but get a little bit fiery on the court, but not in the loud extroverted way.
More in the I'm plotting your demise way.
Exactly. Yeah. Which, curiously enough, jumping into another rare pair, not quite for the same reasons, but I'll circle back to why that connection made me think of it, is Iwaizumi and Kenma.
Okay.
Because I think that there are a lot of similarities between Kenma and Oikawa. So that's where I first... Okay. Hear me out. Oikawa and Iwaizumi, the most popular Haikyuu ship, right? So obviously there are reasons that people see Iwaizumi as being attracted to Oikawa, right? And part of it is, like, I think he would be attracted to his intelligence, especially on court, and his ability to, you know, really deep dive into what people's needs are while playing and organize and run his team well. And I think that Kenma has a lot of similar aspects in how attentive he is on court, but he presents so differently. And I think that's really interesting. Is I think Kenma's also really shrewd. He also notices the small little details about his players and the small little details about the other side of the team, but they just have such different like presentations and personalities that I just feel like Iwaizumi and Kenma could play off of some of the same like baseline reasons that Iwaizumi would be attracted, not even necessarily attracted to, but like would get along with Oikawa, but with a completely different dynamic. And so that's why I like that pairing.
Okay, I see that.
Like, I imagine they meet later on in life, and like Iwaizumi plays a game with Kenma, and he's like you remind me of playing with Oikawa, but also completely not. And it would just be like this kind of tension on the court.
Oh.
But between teammates.
Whoa. We love tension on the court.
So yeah, that's why kind of out of nowhere I got thinking about it because of like a TikTok I saw once. This was forever ago, but someone was like asked people to drop their rare pairs in the comments, and then they made like a follow-up being like, these are the ones I really liked, and one of them was Iwaizumi Kenma, and I was like, yeah, I do really like that though.
That's funny.
But they also would still have, I think, kind of a calm nature about them. But Iwaizumi has like the ability to be fired up and really sexy, you know?
It's true. He does.
Yeah. All right, your turn. You blurred out a rare pair. I feel like I've been pushing my own rare pair agenda.
So piggybacking off of Kenma, I want to talk about Toraken and Fuku Toraken because I love them. Nekima is what? You're smiling really weirdly at me.
I just really like Fukunaga because I think he's really cute, and you think I'm insane.
No, I think okay. I think he's cute as in I look at him and I think he's adorable. I don't think he's cute in like a stereotypically like attractive way.
Yes, I think he's cute in a stereotypically attractive way.
Yeah, which is when I think you're crazy.
Yeah, that's exactly what I just said. I think he's cute and you think I'm insane.
I just wanted to put it out there that it's not like I think he's like hideous or something. Like, you make it sound like I'm like disgusted by Fukunaga.
not what I made it sound like at all. I very much reject that. I just said that I think he's cute and you think I'm insane for it.
Anyway, I know what I think you're insane for is thinking that Goshiki is the most attractive character in Haikyuu.
Goshiki is the most attractive student character in Haikyuu. The most attractive character in Haikyuu is obviously Yachi's mom.
Yachi's mom, hands down. As we can agree on that. But
I just it's fine. We've talked about this
we have
before.
talked about this.
I just am very passionate about Goshiki.
All right. Anyway,
But also, I mean, Kandaichi's really hot too, and people don't recognize that.
he's got an onion head.
Like 6'4" in the time skip. Get over here. Anyway, you want to talk about Toriken and Fukunaga? Nekoma is your second favorite team. Is that what you were about to say?
Yes, Nekoma is my second favorite team after Kurasuno. No. I'm a basic bitch. Kurasuno is my favorite team. But I hadn't really considered them before until this most recent season. Season 4?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Season 4, there's a couple of episodes where it kind of focuses on one of Nekoma's national games.
Mm-hmm.
And there's flashbacks to Kenma, Yamamoto, and Fukunaga's first year and kind of like their introduction to each other. And I just was so enamored by those episodes and the way that their relationship was portrayed and how like the clash of ideals and then them kind of coming to an agreement on how they can work together and how they can both respect each other's like work ethic and way of looking at volleyball. And just especially the like scene towards the end of that, like I think it's 2 episodes. I think it's a 2-episode little mini arc. And so towards the end of the second episode, when in the flashback they've kind of like gotten over their shit, they get together now, and Yamamoto's like, you can call me Tora, that's what my friends call me, and Ken was like, do I have to? And then it immediately flashes to him setting to Yamamoto and he calls out Tora.
It's so precious.
It's such a good moment. And I just think that Yamamoto is such a like good-hearted, genuine character, and he's like kind of similar reasons to why I love Noya and Tanaka is just like they're loud and they're kind of brash, but also they just care a lot, and I think they can be he can be soft, and like we've seen him get like be cute and flustered around like Kyoko and Yachi, and I just think he has so many sides to him. And I think getting a character like that with a calmer, softer character like Kenma, but he's not calm and soft all the time. Like fucking they have an all-out almost fist fight with each other.
Yeah,
and
it's when you see like a character able to rile up a calm character, it's so satisfying to like see them in a relationship.
Yeah,
because it's like, yeah, you really get under their skin, like you really do.
Yeah, and so I just think it's fun, and I think it's fun that he brings out a different side of Kenma. And then you throw Fukunaga in there, and I think he's the calm. I feel like he's the calming balance between the two of them, which we do see with him like throwing the fucking bucket of water on them. But I just think he's such a little cutie with his like jokes and his big ol' eyes. And
trust me, you don't have to convince me he's a cutie.
Yes, I know. But yeah, I just think the three of them have like a really fun dynamic. And let's see, the fit counts for Tora-ken as of today is 89, and then Fukutora-ken is 11. And that really shocked me because like of those 2 episodes where their relationship was shown so nicely. And so I was like, okay, like I guess like those episodes just aired, and like I feel like most people are anime watchers and not manga readers. And so like I was like, okay, now that people have seen it, like now they're gonna write it, now they're gonna be into it. And it's like months later, and we're at less than 100 for Tora-ken, and we're at less than 15 for the trio. And so I don't know. I love them so much. I just feel like
Tora suffers from the same thing that Inoshida does, where it's like, yeah, there's been like a really impactful moment between him and another character, but he's such a minor character in the overall show of the story that it just doesn't leave a lasting impression on people, really.
Yeah. He's so good. I love Taurus so much.
Yeah. I forgot to say, Iwaizumi and Kenma's fit count is 30. So, which I haven't read any of. And I'm like,
hey.
I am so confused by the fact that I haven't read this. Yeah, now I have lots to add to my to-read now. I also just watched a Sakuatsu rec video on TikTok that I screenshotted some recs from. So
you're gonna have a super pile once you get through your 200k Kyohaba.
I'm like halfway through it.
That's good.
Maybe a little less then.
It's still a lot to go.
But yeah. Bless people who make rec videos on TikTok. It's so nice to just not have to look through tags, and I can just screenshot like all the fics in their rec video that sound interesting to me, and then I have them in my photos, and then I delete the photo once I read it so that I know I've read it.
Nice management.
Yeah, because I can't close out of the tab because I'll have it open so I can review it in the future. And that's how I have
You were so stressful.
an unnamed amount of tabs in my Chrome browser on my phone.
An obscene amount of tabs.
Yeah. It's not unnamed because I don't want to tell you. It's unnamed because I don't know how many are open because Google stops telling you how many tabs you have once you pass 99. So I just know it's more than 99.
You stress me out so bad. But you also screw yourself when you do this because you wait so long to review a fic that you forget what it's about, and then you have to reread it.
I know.
And then you wait again, and it's a vicious cycle.
I know. But I get so overwhelmed when I finish a really good fic. Fics that I like and are good and solid, I have no problem with just reviewing because I'm like, this is really good. I'll like pick out what I really liked from it and like put it in. But like fics that made me feel something at the end of a review, at the end of reading it, I'm just like, I can't even put my thoughts into words, but the author deserves the words. And so I'm like, I'll review this later when I can compose my thoughts. But now I'm like 100 fics later, which, I guess it means I read that many good fics.
There you go. That's one way to look at it. Back to Rarepairs.
Yeah, anything else you want to say about Toru, Kenma, Fukunaga?
I just love them.
Do you have any other poly ships on your list?
I do, actually. Let's see. The next one, Bokuto, Kuro, and Daichi.
Yes. Oh, it's such a good one. What's the fit count on it?
Good question. I just closed my phone. It is 93.
Yeah, honestly, I like any combinations of the captains, kind of minus Terushima, but like whatever. It's my own personal bias towards Terushima or against him, I guess. I love Bokuto and Kuro. I love like bros, but they fuck, and then you throw Daichi in there, and it's just like the hotness cannot be contained.
Yeah, it's not one that I would have ever like. I love Kurodai and I love Bokuro. I don't even know what Bokuto and Daichi would be by themselves. That's not one that I looked up to prepare for, but I have just kind of recently seen some Bokurodai art on Twitter, and I'm like, I love Daichi so much. And so like anytime I see Daichi fan art, I'm just automatically inclined to love it. But like I saw like a Bokurodai where it was like they were picking up Daichi from the airport. I showed it to you. And it was just so cute. They were all like hugging and they were all so happy to see each other. And I was like, oh my god, wait a minute, like this is adorable.
Yeah.
Like I just like the two, like Bokuto and Kuro can be so like crazy, and I think Daichi would be like such a good calming presence, but also Daichi has a wild side too.
I think Bokuto is a really shippable character, and honestly like not explored enough with other ships just because of how popular. Again, it's like it's really hard to escape the popularity of the popular ships in Haikyuu, but how popular him and Akashi are kind of just dominates. But I feel like Bokuto is a character that's so full of love that it's just satisfying to see him with a lot of people. A ship that I really like, and I can't believe I didn't think about it ahead of time to put it on my list and look it up, but is Bokuto and Kenma, and it's also another decently small one. Again, probably conflated with the Boku Akakuro Ken tag a lot, but I've read a couple of fics that's just them, and I love it when you have just like the shy, introverted, maybe insecure character, and you have like a character that's just like so full of unconditional love for them. It's so good.
Yeah, and Bokuto is the perfect
and so enthusiastic about it.
So enthusiastic, so not shy about sharing his affections too.
Yeah, like, exactly. And I absolutely love the idea of them as a couple, and it is another one that's like criminally underwritten for. And I don't have anything more to add to that, but that reminded me of when you were like, I don't even know, Bokuto Daichi. Yeah, sure. Yeah, Bokuto Kenma I really, really like as well.
I'm also just like you said, I'm a big fan of like captain ships and captain interactions, and as previously stated, I am a very big fan of Daichi, and so there's been like kind of an uptick in like the Daichi captain harem trend lately, which I am absolutely obsessed with. Any type of like all the captains are in love with Daichi type content, I am just
same.
Oh my god, yeah. Which I feel like sometimes it's a little blown out of, it's a little extrapolated, but
I mean, absolutely, but also that's type
part of fandom
of kind of fanon, I guess, content that I don't mind at all.
Yeah.
Like, does Oikawa ever really show any signs in canon of being overly appreciative of Daichi? No. Do I still appreciate it when he's one of the captains that's fawning over Daichi?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Daichi is also, I feel like, a pretty shippable character just because he's so solid and good.
Yeah,
I feel like he'd be good with anyone.
Yeah, I read like Daichi Suki. I don't remember how I stumbled upon it, but I was like, this is kind of weird. And it's not a ship that I particularly like, but I think it was just like the one fic I read for it, and it was like enjoyable. I commented on it. I liked it. It was a sweet story. And I think it just worked because Daichi, he's the type of person that can get along with anyone, so it is possible to develop a relationship between him and anyone. So even though that's really not, it's not a favorite pairing of mine, I didn't really like the pairing that much, I still was able to like get behind that pairing in the context of the fic just because Daichi,
gotta love him. Yeah.
So what about your other polyamorous ships? You said you had a couple.
Yeah. Let's see. Next on my list is another Daichi. It's Asahi, Daichi, and Suga.
Yeah.
Cross no 30
oh my god.
years.
Get me so emotional.
Yeah. Anytime I come across Cross No Third Year art, I always like send it to you, and you're like, look at them.
Oh god. I don't know why. They just like hit me.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, and they're like graduating, and this is the last time they'll play together. And like Daichi and Asahi absolutely care about Suga so much, and Suga is always like so dedicated to like supporting the two of them, and the three of them have been so invested in the team from the beginning. And the way that Suga and Daichi work to bring Asahi like back into the fold, and the way that Suga and Asahi just support Daichi as like captain and encourage him to continue on in volleyball and in the captaincy when he was thinking about quitting. It's just really the good. 3rd years.
Yeah. I just think it's really good and solid, and I love just like the three of them and their dynamic and the fun that they have. And I also wanted to give a shout out to, I didn't look up the fic numbers, but I wanted to give a shout out to Asahi and Suga, because that's a ship that you picked up on in the beginning.
Yeah.
And it's not big at all.
It's not big at all. Yeah, it was the first thing that I would say that I mean, maybe Kagehina, just because like inherently like they have that chemistry, but Suga and Asahi was like the first Haikyuu ship that I would say that I shipped.
Yeah.
And I don't really particularly strongly ship it that much anymore, mostly because like just Asahi has fallen to the wayside as a character that I like, and Suga has too, not to quite the same extent, but like kind of.
And not because we dislike them, just because there's so many characters.
Right, there's so many other characters that I like more.
Yeah.
I just feel like they're you know, in that arc where they're bringing Asahi back to the team, like I know there's a good amount of focus on Asahi and Noya, obviously, but also Suga was a major part of that. Like he was the one that
Suga was a huge proponent of like advocating for Asahi to come back.
Yeah, and then the moment in the game against the
is it Date Tech? Or is
no, the municipal team.
Oh yeah.
When they came in and practiced, and like Asahi finally called the ball, and he's like, Suga.
Yeah.
And then later on in the game against Date Tech, when Suga goes to Kageyama and is like, make room for the ace, or the one where Suga, I don't remember what game it was, but Suga gets swapped in, and it's like right before they're gonna swap Kageyama back in. It might be the Seijo match, I'm not sure. And Asahi's like give me the ball, I'll make it count, and he scores, and it's just like, ugh.
Yeah, the first time I was watching Haikyuu, I was more drawn into Suga and Asahi's relationship than Asahi and Noya's relationship. And this was prior to me even considering Tana Noya as a ship. So I didn't have my bias yet. I just feel like there's not enough focus put on Asahi and Suga's friendship and relationship.
Yeah.
So, because it is special. It's good. It's there.
It's really good. All right. Next poly ship, go. We're
Next
just like
poly ship. Now it's turned into Haikyuu Rarepairs poly ships, which is most poly ships.
I didn't write down any poly ships. I do really like, I don't know, it's so interesting to be like, oh yeah, I do like this dynamic. But like I didn't think about it before coming. But I really like the ship idea of Bokuto and Akashi and Kenma, but just without Kuro. Not because I like hate Kuro, but just
Kuro can have Daichi. We're
Kuro
putting him over there.
Exactly. No, Kuro can have Daichi. And again, it's kind of like I don't know. I don't know if I really have an in-depth explanation for why I like it. I think it's a combination of the reasons we've been saying we like other ships. Like Kenma's this really quiet, introverted person, and I think being shown the unconditional love from Bokuto would be really nice. I think Akashi as someone that they can both mutually open up to with each other is an interesting and fun dynamic. And then, I mean, obviously Bokuto and Akashi just have their inherent chemistry in the show. Also, this would probably be a rare pair as well, and I totally didn't think about it, but Osamu, Akashi, and Bokuto.
They're actually on my list.
Oh, they are on your list.
So I wrote down Boku Asa Oka, Boku Osa Aka. There we go.
What did you say?
I said Boku Asa Oka, which Asa would be Asahi. I don't know who Oka would be.
I made the same mistake when writing down that name before as well.
Yeah, Bokuto Osamu Akashi is 23 fix.
That's smaller than I would have expected. I mean, I guess it's a poly ship, and like they always have, or not always, but usually have less. Yeah. But still, I don't know. I don't know. I guess I'm biased.
Yeah. But I've seen some more fan art for them recently. And I think this morning or yesterday, I read a thread fic on Twitter for them. Is the premise was, so Bokuto and Akashi are like together, and it's in the time skip. So Bokuto's a famous athlete, and everybody knows Bokuto and Akashi are together, but at a game, Akashi and Osamu are seen holding hands, and so everybody's like, oh my gosh, Bokuto and Akashi broke up. And so like people are like waiting for after the game when like Bokuto's gonna see them and there's gonna be a big blowout, but actually Bokuto just runs up and kisses both his boyfriends.
Love that.
Yeah. And so it's just a cool.
We talk about Daichi being like an easy person to ship a lot of different people with, and I think for polyamory, Bokuto and Akashi are a really easy like couple to throw a third person in, because they already just have that dichotomy of a really outgoing personality and someone who's very expressive with their emotions, and someone who's calmer and maybe easier to talk to on a deeper level or connect with in that regard. And so you almost like have this balance, and so whoever you throw in the middle is going to be like positively affected by those two people. Because literally, like you list anyone and throw them with Bokuto and Akashi, and I'd be like, yeah. Like, I don't know, Kyotani, Bokuto, Akashi.
Okay.
Wonderful.
I feel like Kyotani would be so overwhelmed, but then he has Akashi to calm him down.
Exactly.
There we go.
Actually, I don't really know if I vibe with that one, but you know what? It's all fine. But speaking of Kyotani and polyamory, literally right before this podcast, we joked about Kyotani, Tanaka, and Yamamoto together as like the three aggressive, like
wild cards of the
of their respective teams, the like fight me kind of people. And you know what?
I like it.
I fucking am so here for it.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of loud rowdy, I read a fic. I think it was like a Tumblr Drabble thing. It was Tanaka, Noya, Terashima, and I think it was Bokuto. And so it was
all
just
together?
Yeah, all four of them together.
Bokuto, Noya, Terashima. Who am I missing?
Tanaka. Yeah. And so just four loud, rowdy boys.
That is very overwhelming.
Very overwhelming, but it was a really cute fic. It was basically they were like, the four of them were on a road trip and having fun and being ridiculous. And so I was like, party ship.
So do you have any more on your list that, I mean, I know you had a long fucking list, but do you have any more on your list that you feel very like passionately about?
Let me see. Okay, so one that I feel strongly about that I know that you do not feel strongly about is Sakasa and Kuro.
Yeah, It's just fine. If there was a fic, again, I feel this way about, I think every single ship in Haikyuu is, if there's a fic with a premise that I really like, I'd probably get down with a ship for it. And that's how I feel towards it. But I just don't have any appreciation for them as a couple.
So there's 27 fics for them. There's one that I really, really liked. It like takes place in college and they're roommates. Oh my God, they were roommates.
But yeah, I still haven't reviewed any of the first two fics. The first two Haikyuu fics that I ever read, I haven't reviewed either of those.
That's incredible.
and my favorite Haikyuu fic I've never reviewed. So those are my scary big three that I'm like, you really all deserve reviews, but I can't because you're all so good.
You're obnoxious.
You're too good for reviews. Anyway.
And I just really liked it. And I sought out the ship after seeing a fan art of them. And I was like, wow, they're both really pretty. Like, I want to explore their dynamic.
Is two characters being attractive.
Yeah. And so then I was like, wait a second, I actually really like this. And so it was pretty quick for me to get kind of really into it. Just because, like, I don't know, they're both in Tokyo. They, like...
That's all it takes.
Stop it.
Imagine two people in Tokyo.
Yeah.
One of the largest cities in the world.
Anyway. But, like, you know, they are both play on really good volleyball teams, so they probably had, like, a fair amount of experience playing against each other. And I think that Kuro's relationship with Kenma, and Kenma being someone who doesn't have, like, the easiest ability to get along with other people. He has like particularities about him, etc. And so I think Kuro, even though he is like kind of loud and has like sometimes an abrasive personality, I think his relationship with Kenma shows a really softer and like a more understanding side to him. And Sakuza, even though we don't really have a lot of canon material for him, the fanon Sakuza that we have all agreed upon, or not all, but many people have agreed upon, I just think that his relationship with Kenma would lend itself really easily to being friends with Sakuza, who we have seen be prickly in particular, and like he's often portrayed with like germophobia and things like that. And that was a pretty big part of the fic that I read that I really liked. It kind of like, because they were roommates, and so they kind of had to learn how to live with each other. And so because that was where I kind of saw the relationship dynamic playing out nicely, I really enjoyed that with like Kenma's relationship with Kuro, teaching him how to be gentle with people. I was really happy with this fic and how that it portrayed that, because I was like, yes, like someone else sees that. It gave me all my heart feelings, even though the ship tag is very small, and like once you filter by complete, it's even smaller, of course. And
right. What about Kuro Kageyama?
I have not looked up Kuro Kageyama.
Yeah, but I think, you know, Kuro good at coaxing out an introvert.
I can get behind it. I'm still more about Kuro Sakuza, but
yeah. What about this is, you know what about, how do you feel about Kuro Yachi? I've seen that a few times.
I have seen that a few times. It confuses me in the same way that Terashima Yamaguchi confuses me, in that I see it enough that I feel like I just don't know where it's coming from.
Like it's a popular rare pair, but you're like, why is it a popular rare pair?
I've seen Terashima Yamaguchi like a surprising amount.
I think Terashima Yamaguchi is probably one of the most popular rare pairs of two characters that literally don't interact.
Yeah. Or like if they
does
do
Yamaguchi even serve during the Narazaki, the Jozenji game?
I don't know. I just want to know where it comes from. Like, and like there doesn't have to be like a canon scene or something. I just want to know kind of where it started, or like
how. I don't know. Terashima Yamaguchi is a very strange one.
I looked it up because I wanted to mention it. They have 214 fics, which is, you know, Tananoya has 384. So they're just 150 under.
That's like your baseline is
Tananoya. Like Tananoya. Like, I'm just saying, like.
But yeah, that's really popular for two characters that don't interact and aren't main characters.
Yeah.
I just don't like Terashima that much. And so that's like the big for me.
I like Terashima more than you do. I still don't super vibe him. Like, I don't seek out any content for him.
Yeah.
But I have a couple of internet friends who really like Terashima, and so I kind of have like an appreciation for him just because I've seen them share their appreciation for him.
I don't know. I mean, here's the thing is I actually really like the Cross no Josenji match. I think it's so much fun. I laughed a lot when I watched it. I think it's one of the funniest matches and just like the most enjoyable in terms of lightheartedness. But man, the fact that he was just so, and I know it's such a small moment and like theoretically it's really easy to overlook, especially if you're going like the fanon way, but just like him being so pushy about getting Kyoko's number is like such a turn off. It's like you are, and I think especially since it's like a sports anime, it's so easy to see him as just like that fucking annoying jock that won't take no for an answer and just like everyone actually hates.
He has a tongue ring.
Yeah. Gross. Anyway, so I guess I don't know. If Terashima shows up in Fix, again, it's not like I hate him. I don't hate any Haikyuu character, but I'm definitely like the least interested in him out of all of the Haikyuu characters.
Circling back to Kuroyachi that you first brought up, I just want to know where it comes from. Like, I've seen it a fair amount, and there was that like trend going around on Twitter with the go for it like manga cover, and they were doing like different ships, and I saw, so the trend has kind of like died off, but I saw one recently that was Yachi, and so typically there's like one other character in the hearts and it's like go for it, like go after that character, but it was like Suki and Yamaguchi and Kyoko and Kuro, and I'm like, the other three, like, I see. But Kuro, I'm like, where does it come from? Like, I don't really have a problem with it. Like, I don't think I'll ever read anything for them.
I've read something for them.
Oh, all right.
It was cute.
Nice. Like, but so yeah, I don't have a problem with it, but I just am fascinated by how often I see it for the fact that I don't think they interact to my memory. How was the fic? Other than being cute.
It was good. It was an E-rated fic.
Oh.
And it was a training camp. I don't really remember the full details of it, but basically it was like after hours they like ran into each other or something like that, and Kuro was basically like kind of taking the lead in, I don't know, kind of a sexual exploration, I guess. Kuro was really respectful throughout the whole thing, and it felt a little bit like, what am I trying to say? It was definitely the more experienced person being Kuro, and then kind of like the naive, like new to sexual experiences Yachi, but it was just done in such a nice way where it was so obvious that like Kuro was respecting her wants and desires, and yeah, they like hooked up at training camp. That was basically the extent of the fic. It was just sweet. Like I said, it wasn't anything like they were dating or ended up in a relationship or whatever. It was very much just like
classic hooked up at the training camp.
Classic hooked up at the training camp.
Nice.
Yeah. So does that round out your list that you had then?
Oh, I do want to talk a little bit, and I think you'll want to talk about this as well. But Kendaichi and Kageyama.
Oh my gosh, I just want to talk about Kendaichi all the time.
So they have 164 fics as of this morning when I looked it up. I just think that there's something so heartbreaking about like potentially heartbreaking about their dynamic in like the way that I feel like you can tell that Kendaichi really wanted things to work out with Kageyama as the setter, and that he's kind of regretful about it, but also like Kageyama was being a dick, and so it had to happen. But to then show up in high school, like not even that long ago since the whole like team turning their back on Kageyama, like that happened in the spring, and then they come together like just a few months later, and already Kageyama is like working together with his team and has a spiker who wants to hit his crazy sets, and like I just feel like that must be such a weird feeling for Kendaichi, who like in my mind it's like it kind of poses like, oh well, like why weren't we worth that effort from Kageyama?
Exactly, like why wasn't he ever willing to adjust his sets to what like we needed? But oh my god, I get like I get like kind of emotional about it because like I don't know, I like to think that Kendaichi like had a crush on Kageyama, but like because of Kageyama's attitude and stuff, like it just obviously didn't work out, and that would have been fine had Kageyama not bettered himself just 4 months later, right?
And being shown that, and they're seen in the bathroom where they're like, don't apologize, and like all of that, like, it gives me like such like I don't know, like exes, like we talked previously about how I'm more into like exes getting back together than you are.
I'm not really that into Kendaichi and Kageyama together, and I think that's exactly the real reason, is because it feels like exes.
Yeah, it makes my heart hurt for Kendaichi. And
yeah, it makes my heart totally hurt for Kendaichi, and I like want to see that fueled into like someone else coming in and like loving him the way that he always is meant to be loved. And so
yeah, that kind of dynamic is why I liked the Kunimi Kageyama fic from that Stacey / Soulmate AU series.
Oh my god, that series is top tier.
It's a good series, and that one is my favorite. It's also your favorite.
It is also my favorite,
but for different reasons.
I don't know.
Because I just really liked, because I think with Soulmate AUs, they don't tend to be my favorite, just because I think they usually make it too simple, and when authors try to make it not simple, sometimes it just comes out convoluted.
Sure. I'm a basic bitch. I love simplicity. I love Soulmate AUs.
I love Soulmate AUs when they like subvert in a really good way.
Yeah, that stresses me out most of the time.
No, I love it. And so Kunimi realizes that they're soulmates before Kageyama does, and it kind of presents this like they have to get over their issues from junior high before they can be the soulmates they're like meant to be.
Right.
And so I really liked that aspect of it, is like you are meant to be together, but first you have to resolve your issues. And it's not just like you meet and it's magically like, oh, I'm meant to love you for the rest of my life.
Yes. And in this series you also get part of, so basically the Soulmate AU of this series is that you dream of future glimpses of you and your soulmate until the point where you meet them. There's a little more rules to it, but that's the basic gist of it.
Yeah. But if you've already met them, you dream about them until you realize it's them. They are. Yeah, which is the case with Kunimi and Kageyama.
Right. What that means is that they each have glimpses into their future with the other person, and it's like a happy, loving future. And so once, you realize who it is, it's like how do you reconcile with where you are with this person now, and it being, in their case, kind of a more contentious relationship, versus this like happily ever after that you're seeing in the future for yourselves. So yeah, and funnily enough, because it's that same series that I was just about to bring up, but for Kendaichi, because he's in it in a throuple, actually. It's Kendaichi, Suki, and Hinata, and I just love it. It just makes me happy. The three of them are like good vibes. I was kind of skeptical of the three of them at first just because the Suki Hinata part really threw me off. But I actually really liked the Suki Hinata aspect of that polyamorous relationship. And it's low-key opened my mind a little bit more to Suki Hina going forward. Like, I see fan art of them now, and I'm like, yeah. Whereas before, I would be like, not for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway, yes, because they just show Kendaichi the love he needs and deserves. Because, yeah, I'm just such a sucker for, like, I love insecurity in fics. I know it's not a realistically healthy aspect.
But that's not what we're here for.
Necessarily of relationships, but I just love the like someone is insecure about like their ability to be loved, and then someone shows the person that they are deserving of said love. And so I just feel like that applies so easily to Kendaichi, who probably has a lot of insecurities over how him and Kageyama went, and how like he essentially wasn't worthy of Kageyama adjusting to meet him halfway. And then someone can come in and be like, I love you, or whatever.
Yeah.
Goshiki, come on, get your man.
Just shove your faves together.
Yeah, honest, that's literally the only basis of that relationship. I like it, but I fully recognize that is 100% self-indulgent. It's just because I like Goshiki and I like Kendaichi, and I just want to see them together.
That pretty much
rounds up your list. I only have one on my list that we haven't talked about, and that is Iwaizumi and Tendo sitting at a solid 28.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know how to justify this one. I think it's just kind of another one where it's like Iwaizumi is a calmer character. I mean, not in the same way that we've been talking about Akashi or Kenma being a calm character, but he has a level head on him.
Mm-hmm.
He's been shown as kind of the level head in comparison to Oikawa, who is extra. That's a good way of putting it. And so again, he kind of has like the experience in like dealing with that. And so when you put Tendo's brand of insanity on it, like it's just like, well, settling in now. It's like Oikawa, but turned the fuck up. And I don't know, I just like the idea of Iwaizumi with like crazy ass Tendo. Plus I just love Tendo, so you know, anyone with Tendo is A1. Oh yeah, and I didn't write it down on my list, but like probably honestly my favorite rare pair is Semi and Suga, so you know, shout out to that one.
Yeah. Others that I had on my list were Kuro and Yaku, which that
yes, I totally
has
agree.
the most on my list with 540.
Yeah,
I just think they're fun.
they
Kind
are
of the
fun.
enemies to lovers vibe with how they were.
Definitely.
And I like you got the height difference. That's always fun in a ship. I had Aone and Asahi as well. I just think they could be so cute together. They're just big, scary looking, but actually so soft.
Yes.
Yeah. And they were actually a background pairing in a Tananoia fic that I read one time that I really liked. And that's kind of what opened my eyes to it. And I just think they're really cute.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Shout out to a previous one I mentioned, which was Aohina. So Aone and Hinata. Let's see. Do I have Kageyama and Suga I kind of vibe with as well. They have that's Kindaichi Kageyama. The Kagasuga has 327.
I accidentally read a Kagesuga fic once.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
You thought it was
I thought it was Suga Kuro. Yeah, because I read Kuro Tetsuro. Or no, I didn't read that. I read Kageyama Tobio, and for some reason misread that as Kuro Tetsuro. And I started reading the fic. I don't really remember. It's something like Kageyama was like Suga's boss's like kid or something. He was new to town and Suga was going to show him around or something. But I remember I was reading it and I was like, wow, they're like really focusing on like Suga and Kageyama's development. And they like go out to either like a bar or a club or something. And in my mind, I was like, oh, Suga's probably going to meet like Kuro there. But I was just like, oh my gosh, they're focusing so much on like Kageyama. And then like it started to become obvious that Kageyama and Suga were getting together, and I was like, wait a minute. Scroll back up to the top. I'm such a fucking dumbass. I'm so bad at reading tags.
You're notoriously bad at reading tags.
I do not generally read thoroughly the tags of fics.
I think some of my favorite moments are like coming home and you're like, I was reading this fic and I was being surprised by this thing. And I was like, wait a second, this wasn't tagged. And then you're like, oh, but I scrolled up and actually it was tagged. I just suck at reading the tags.
I know.
You're a menace.
In the fic I'm reading right now, like someone dies. And the fic, in my defense, is not tagged major character death, even though low-key maybe I would have considered that tag to be applicable, but it is tagged with like someone dies or something like that. And I was just like, great. Major character death is usually a hard no for me in fics. Like I will not read it if I know it's there. So far it's been fine in this fic. I'm not impressed, but you know.
You didn't nope out of it.
I didn't nope out of it. I'm still going. I'm actually really enthralled with it.
Nice.
I don't remember the title or the author, but it's literally just the 200k Kyohaba fic, so go find it.
Easy to find. Go search Kyohaba and filter by word count.
Yeah, honestly.
And then let's see, anything else I had on my list? Oh, I have two more that we haven't mentioned. Tendo and Semi, which has 373. I just think they have a fun dynamic.
Yeah,
I feel
me
like
too.
they get under each other's skin and they can poke at each other in a fun way.
They're not like my most favorite pairing in the world, but also one of my absolute favorite fics is of that pairing. So
yeah, I prefer them to Ushiten.
I can't get behind that statement, but that's
So,
okay. You're
that's
very
where I
wrong.
am.
You're very wrong. I love Ushiten so much, but they are not a rare pair, so
Yes.
shut the fuck up.
And then the last one on my list was Atsumu and Suna with 193.
Yeah, I've read a couple fics for them.
Yeah, it's not one that I'm like super enthusiastic about. I do enjoy seeing the way that people write their dynamic differently than Osamu and Suna.
See, I think I like Osamu Sakuza better than I like Atsumu Suna.
I've read a couple of fics for them, and I just think it's fun the way that, because usually Atsumu I feel like is portrayed as like the louder and brattier character out of the like Inarizaki characters. But once you pair him up with Suna, I feel like Suna has the advantage in terms of his cunningness and his way to play situations in the way that he's portrayed, which I enjoy. I enjoy seeing Atsumu kind of flipped on his head in that realm.
Guess I also kind of want to shout out Atsumu and Kira, or Osamu and Kira, just to put it out there because I love Kira so much. But also, I'm not super into either of them because I feel like one of them wins. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
I feel
if one of them gets with Kita,
right? Like, and I feel the same way about them being with one of them being with Aran. Is that I don't really like it, but not because I don't like the pairing, but I just feel like one of them wins in that case. Like I just
what if one of them gets with Aran and the other one gets with Kita?
I'm intrigued.
Then they both win.
But who would go with who?
Roll the dice. We'll see.
Yeah, and then I'll also shout out, just off the top of my head, I'm betting it's a rare pair, is Aran and Kita.
I think they're so cute.
Oh my god, they're so cute.
They're so solid. They're like a really refreshing, like just solid couple.
I feel like they're like the Daichi and Suga of Inarizaki.
Yeah, like they're just
together.
They're together. They're cool. They're chill.
Yes.
Yeah, no drama.
And two beautiful people together.
Absolutely gorgeous couple.
Yeah, that's another take I haven't gone through yet, I don't think. I've read a couple fics that have just been, either I've been going through people's authors' pages or it's been like a part of a series. But I love the two of them together. So you have exhausted your list of rare pairs. I have exhausted my list. I'm sure there are more out in the ether that we support
more out there.
Because even after we made our list, we were talking about additional ones that we were into. But oh yeah, you know, like also I read a bunch of, I don't remember either of their names from Inarizaki, but
is it like the minor characters, like Gin is one of them?
Ginjima, and the
other one is it the libero? Ginjima's not the libero, right?
Correct. Ginjima is not the libero. Ginjima and Akagi. We've read some of that, and it's been pretty solid.
I only read the one fic that was part of a series.
By Sifu Hotman.
Yeah, and
the only pairing I've read for that character is written by them, and I think I've read one fic that isn't by that author, but for that author.
Oh, okay. All right. Like a gifted work.
Yeah, like a gifted work.
Wow.
I don't know. Shout out to a really rare pair. Like, we have read a fic that encompasses them, and also the fucking not Yamamoto. What am I thinking of? Yamagata and Kawanishi.
Oh yeah, I was super into them.
You were really into them
for like absolutely no reason other than this fic.
Yeah, yeah. What was it called? Wayward. Something?
Just wayward. Yeah.
Yep.
It's good. I really liked it. But but back to the Ginjima and Akagi. When I was reading that fic, because I didn't know their names, I had to Google them like every 5 minutes to remind myself what they looked like. And so so for the most part, Ginjima was referred to as Gin, and the only character that I was previously familiar with that was called Gin was Gin from Bleach. And so half the time, whenever it was like, Gin, I pictured fucking Captain Gin from Bleach, and I was like, I need to look him up again. Remind myself what this character actually looks like. So
that's so funny.
His stupid little smirk face, and I was like, I hate you, Gin. And so it like kind of soured my reading experience of the fic for a little while until I could actually picture Ginjima's face.
That's really funny.
Yeah, so.
All right, well, with that, we have truly, for the moment, exhausted our rare pairs. It is time for Sydney's segment.
Yes, so for Sydney's segment, I want to briefly talk about Fruits Basket, because it has now come to an end. And I previously talked about it being one of my favorite animes, and the original Fruits Basket being my introduction to anime as an actual genre outside of like the almost universal childhood experience of Sailor Moon and Pokemon and Digimon. I love Fruits Basket, and I want to watch it with you so badly so that we can share in the experience of it, because I really want to see you react to the characters, because there's so many characters and like there's such strong characters. But also,
I won't veto it if you make it your pick.
I know, but I have a hard time like choosing it because it's such a like serious show. It is fun. Like, it's really fun, and there's lots of fun moments.
Like serious
I
media.
know, but there's like a lot of crying and a lot of like
I don't think you are afraid of me not enjoying myself because it's sad. I think you're afraid of me not enjoying it and ripping it apart.
that too. Because as I previously stated, watching things with you is always interesting because you almost never react how I would think you would react. And I think it's like a really great part about you as a person is that you don't go with the norm. Like,
I'm not like other girls.
You're not like other girls, and
maybe that's
what makes you so
maybe
special.
That's why you like me, is because I'm just not like other girls.
No. But like, I think you have like, it's something I really admire about you is how strong you are in like your opinions and your beliefs, and you're not easily swayed by things. I am very easily swayed by things. Like, we'll have discussions. I've gotten better over the years, but we'll have discussions and you'll give your opinion, and then I'll be like, okay, yeah. And I'll just like switch and agree with you. And so I feel like I've gotten better at standing up for myself, or like actually discussing things rather than just immediately glomming onto whatever you say. But that's something that's really interesting to me watching media. And like, I guess if you watched our whatever episode it was in my segment, we talked about Full Metal Alchemist, because at that point we were halfway through. We are closing in on the end. We're about 10 episodes away from Full Metal, so at some podcast in the near future we'll probably do a review of that. And so rewatching that with you watching it for the first time is so interesting, because like you just have such different takes than like I would expect, or from
what's
like
been the most surprising take?
You laughing through a death scene recently.
God. Spoiler warning for Full Metal Alchemist. Hit the skip a couple times if you don't want to be spoiled. But I'm sorry, I could not take Envy's death seriously. It's like this small worm waxing poetic, being like, "Don't you want to turn on each other?" And then and it's just on. It feels like a melodrama. Like, it doesn't feel like it's supposed to be taken seriously. Like, there's things in the show that feel like they're supposed to be taken seriously, and that just didn't. Like, Envy down on the ground, pulling the fucking sorcerer's stone, philosopher's stone, pulling the philosopher's stone out of its stomach and like thrusting it up and it bursting open, felt like a scene out of a parody. Like, it felt like Pyramus and Thisbe. It's like Pyramus's death scene. Like, I don't know.
No, I just remember that being such an emotional moment for me. Like, the first time I watched this series, I was like so like, I felt so sad for Envy, and kind of like, because like in their last moments, their whole like worldview and kind of sense of self is being challenged, and they react really badly to it. And like, I don't know,
is their whole worldview being challenged? They're fucking Envy. That's their name. Of course they're fucking envious of humans. It's kind of in the name. They're envious of everyone.
Yeah, but that's like kind of like challenging their sense of self, is like, hey, this is an aspect about you that you're like trying to deny, and that like really fucks them up, and they're like dying, and it's sad. And I don't know, I was like really drawn in by that moment. And then we're rewatching this, and I'm like not feeling it as much as the first time I was watching it, but also not feeling it as much because you're sitting next to me giggling on the couch.
That's a funny scene. I'm sorry.
Anyway, but it's stuff like that. It's stuff like how in the very beginning you were super like not vibing the like pro-military agenda that they were putting out in the beginning, whereas like I watch it and I'm not like in my personal life super pro-military, but it's not something that I watch and I'm like okay, whatever, like this is how the show is. You're like, I don't like this is fishy. And so you're just so strong, and like, and you react so differently from how I feel most people react to things, that like I can almost never tell how you're gonna like feel about things. And that's particularly apparent when I'm rewatching something and you're seeing it for the first time.
Right. I am really curious. I don't know. I'm really curious about Fruits Basket just because I hear so much about it through you and through TikTok and whatnot. And I feel like I would really like the characters.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm a character-based person. That'll be like a t-shirt I get it printed out on. I like my characters.
I'm character-driven.
Yeah, I'm a character-driven reader or consumer of media. And so, like, part of me thinks I would really like it because I like the characters. But from what I've heard of the plot, it just sounds, ugh. But anyway, this is not my opinions on Fruits Basket right now. This is your opinions on Fruits Basket because this is your segment and you want to talk about it because you finished it. How did you like the ending?
I really liked it. This is another reason why I kind of want to rewatch it with you is because I do just want to rewatch it. I'm trying to get the mangas from my library. I have volume 2, not 1 or 3. Those are still pending, even though I placed the holds a couple weeks ago. But I have volume 2.
You've read the part of the manga.
I read when the first season ended, I was having withdrawals. And so I checked out manga, it's like the deluxe versions. So volume 1 is technically chapters 1 and 2 or whatever. And so I read volume 1, 2, and like part of 3, but that was at like fall 2019, so it's been a while. So I just want to start from the beginning and get the whole story without like season breaks or anything like that. But I don't know, it's just, I think it's such a beautiful story about like human connection, and I think the arc with the character development, I just like, see, this is why like I want to watch it with you, because I want to talk about things in specifics, but you don't understand any of it.
Well, make it your next choice, and we'll
have
talk.
to watch Demon Slayer. Which
Slayer
probably
can be
is
my next choice. It won't be. Backflip is going to be my next choice, but Demon Slayer can be my choice after it. But we should watch Demon Slayer before season 2 releases so that we can watch.
Is there a date for that?
I think they released the date that they were going to release the release date.
They released the date that they were going to release the release date. I just wanted to repeat what you said because I thought it was funny.
I know. It sounds fucking stupid, but I think they announced when they were going to announce the return. I don't know. I saw a CBR headline for it, and I fucking hate that website. Yeah. I did such a trash website. Also, they did a Zodiac post for Bleach. This is years ago, but not Bleach, but for My Hero Academia, and they fucking listed Bakugo as an Aries, which he should be, but he's not. He's a Taurus. So. And
you're forever bitter about it.
Like not only is just like their articles like fluff and bullshit and like stupid, but they're also wrong sometimes.
Yeah.
So anyway, it was a CBR headline. I didn't actually look at the article or fact check, but according to the one headline off of a shoddy website, they announced the date in which they are going to announce Demon Slayer Return. Anyway, doesn't matter. Fruits Basket.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just, I am scared that you're gonna rip apart things, but that's also kind of why I wanted to watch it by myself the first time, so that I had my pure experience of watching it. There are parts where I'm like, okay, this is a little dramatic, which I feel like you're gonna think it's a lot dramatic for most of the time, which makes me nervous about getting you to watch it. But it's just an emotional show,
isn't melancholy.
Kind of.
I don't like
but
melancholy
it doesn't
things.
End melancholy.
I don't like melancholy things.
But it's so good. And this is the dilemma.
Oh, I'm going to watch it for my 2 faves and for my 2 faves only.
For Yuki and Hatsuharu?
Yes.
I would love to see if they actually end up being your faves.
I have no clue.
That's another thing is like, it's so hard for me to gauge your favorite, who your favorites are going to be.
Vice versa, same though. Like, it's like I feel, I don't know. We haven't watched a lot that I've already seen.
That's true.
That you haven't, like, of anything.
Yeah, I mean, we watched like Psych and Firefly.
That's true.
Those weren't really shows where you were quizzing me about favorites or anything.
Right. Who's your favorite in Firefly? It's been a while.
I don't remember. But my instinct, is it Kaylee? Is the engineer? She's probably up there. And then,
she's awesome.
And then the husband, the blonde guy.
Oh, Wash.
I almost said Brosh, but I was like, that is a lieutenant in Full Metal Alchemist, not.
Yeah, Wash. Yeah, those are two of my favorites as well. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't examined. I really liked Inara when I was younger, but also like looking back, I don't think I liked her because of her character. I think I liked her because like she's really pretty.
Anyway, yeah, I don't really have a ton to say about Fruits Basket because I would prefer to discuss it with you when you've actually seen it and can discuss it with me.
But you just wanted to
But
acknowledge
I just wanted to
ending.
acknowledge that it is ended because I have previously talked about being really excited for seeing it all the way through.
Kyo's death anymore.
Yeah, she kept being like, oh, like you're gonna be so sad when Kyo dies in the end, because we previously discussed how you were Googling for something and you ended up spoiling part of the show for yourself.
Yeah, I was just looking at characters and I saw a character that was like, this is the main character's name.
Are you gonna spoil it for our watchers, our listeners?
Spoilers for Fruits Basket. What is the main character's name?
Kyo and Toru.
Toru. Yeah, they were like, this is Kyo and Toru's child, and I was like, oh, well, they get together then.
Yeah, so she knew that, and I knew that she had a spoiler, and she kept being like, ooh, like you're gonna be so upset when like Kyo sacrifices himself for Toru, and I kept being like, shut up. Like it was also exciting because the last season did feel a little bit rushed to me. It is shorter than the other seasons, so I am curious to read the manga and see if like the final arc feels as rushed as it did in the anime. Not that it felt like super rushed, but there were some things that I feel like they could have taken some more time on. But yeah, it just made me happy.
Favorite moment from Fruits Basket?
Favorite moment?
That's not a spoiler.
That's not a spoiler. There's a beach arc in the beginning of season 2, and I really just kind of loved that arc. But I think like a favorite particular moment, I think it's from season 2. They like go on a class trip, and Kyo and Toru have like a really cute moment that I really, really love. I think that's probably one of my favorite moments. But honestly, any Kyo and Toru moment is like my favorite moment. If I end up
liking Kyo, are we gonna have a problem?
He's mine. I have dibs from when I was in elementary school. Step back. You laid claim to Yuki without even watching the show. You get to stick with Yuki.
Yuki's hotter.
He's not.
He's hot.
He's pretty. He's not hotter. And this is another reason why I want to get you to watch the show.
Yuki is absolutely hotter.
No.
Yes. I'm more right in the situation because I'm not biased with their personalities. I'm just going off of aesthetics.
No, I think
Yuki's the hottest one in the show. No, he's not the hottest one in the show. No, it's Hatsuharu.
It's Hatori, actually.
No, it's Hatsuharu. Unless there's some obscure character a la Gang Orca that I don't know about. Oh my god, is there an orca?
No.
Okay, well, you never know. I guess an orca isn't a zodiac, whatever.
No. That's all I have to say for now about Fruits Basket.
Well then, I guess that is all we have to say right now for the show.
All right.
So find us anywhere that you can find podcasts, except for probably Google Podcasts.
Maybe Google Podcasts if they get their together.
Yeah. Find us 2 weeks late on Google Podcasts if you're listening there. No, thank you all so much for listening. Follow us any place you get your podcasts. And follow us on Twitter and TikTok at Acid Watch Pod, which still has 0 posts, but hopefully by the time you're listening to this has some.
How many weeks in a row are you going to say that?
I think that is the 3rd time I've said that about Twitter and the 2nd time I've said that about TikTok.
All right, let's keep a tally, folks.
I've almost said Tumblr. This is like the 2nd time I've almost now said Tumblr, so maybe it's a sign that we need to get a Tumblr account as well.
I think we need to manage the accounts that we do have.
Oh, we need to do that?
Okay. You need to manage the accounts that you do have.
Oh, yeah? I didn't realize that you wanted to take an active role in the participation and creation of content surrounding this podcast.
Do you really want me to?
No.
Exactly.
But I don't think you really want yourself to either.
That's too much pressure.
Thank you so much for listening, and I guess that's the end. Bye-bye.